Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Conclave number 13. We left off with the state of our domain rather poor. We are a duke. This is actually the first time we're starting a game as a duke. Previously, we had been either a count, we quickly rose from that to be a king, then an emperor. Now we're back to being a duke. Or, well, now we are a duke, as we've lost control over quite a lot of our realm. We do still have a massive amount of duchies, though. We are definitely the power behind the Umayyad kingdom, which now rules us. And we're working on our stewardship, becoming ambitious, and generally just taking care of what we can. We go quickly on Hajj to Mecca, and just educate a whole bunch of children while we wait. In 922, our liege and we will run out of our truce, and we will be able to go to war with them again. So we'll probably take advantage of that and move on ahead. We can't get our heir elected into the government, which is a bit of a bummer, so we're going to have to do this militarily, although that's never really been much of a problem. We also might be able to buy off the loyalty of our relative and get them to support our plot. I hoped that we would be able to get them to support our candidate, however that just doesn't seem possible. Not even if we support them will they support themselves. So it looks as though we're going to have to just back ourselves into a more likely than not military expedition to take our country back. Now hopefully we'll be able to pull that off. The emperor is now a child, which was the same situation we had found ourselves in that led to disaster, so we'll see how well they pull that off. And we're generally just going to try to increase our piety because we need to have at least 100 to keep relatives from making us just horribly decadent. So that's going to be the major concern. We're also now going to attempt to find a way to declare some sort of war. Apparently we can't just seize the throne, we have to overthrow the king. So we will go ahead and do that. We'll also get our relative to join our faction. We'll call in our favor. And now we'll go ahead, and he just gave it up. Just like we gave it up to him, he gave it right back up to us without a fight. Now we're going to try to keep the kingdom in Lyon. We also have to start transferring over all of these titles, as all of our vassals now really hate us for having as many duchies as we do. We do have around a 14-year-old brother. We go around and look for places we can give, 12-year-old brother. We go ahead and just give him all of the duchies that we can, and just make him into a massive power base all his own. Luckily, he's a 12-year-old child, so if we do end up having a kid, which we probably will, we are his heir, so we could probably just work out some sort of assassination plot, and hopefully just take all of our lands back. We're also going to attempt a war declaration. We do declare war on Barcelona. And the goal is now going to be we control the vast majority of Swabia all our own. We do go ahead and support the emperor, who's now an adult, gaining us a favor in the process. Because why not get a favor from the emperor if we can? He now wants us to have realm peace, so we cash that favor in immediately, and now we have 2 years to take over the rest of mainland Hispaniola. We also do begin plotting to kill our heir, simply because he has way too much of a power base. He's also Andalusian, so we would lose our great Sweeby culture, and I really don't want to do that. Meanwhile, our forces gather. We have 10,000 men, which seems significantly less than before when we were an emperor, but I guess that doesn't matter too much. We lose in the center, however, they lose on the left end just entirely. So we do manage to pull that together, and now we'll just be able to siege them out and retake Barcelona. Now, we do control the vast majority of the actual Hispaniola region. So the goal is that we're going to win this war against that duchy, seize control over it, as we do have full claims. We'll just grant it to our heir. And then we'll also just, first of all, drop all these armies so we can declare war. Then declare war against Granada, seize that. And just raise our armies again. There's also a Catholic revolt that we'll probably have to fight, although it looks like there's 7,400 of our liege's men who will hopefully just do that fighting for us. So we'll kind of just try to avoid that as long as we can. There's another Catholic revolt. There are quite a few armies, and there we go. Our liege's army did come in and just wipe the floor with them. So what we're going to do is just park one army in the capital of Granada, Granada, notably run by a child, so apparently we're very lucky that we were run by a child first, and then everyone else just kind of fell apart afterwards. Which is a little convenient. I mean, we did have to do quite a lot to build ourselves back up. We're just going to really fast forward right now since all it is sieges. And there we go, now we're at 100%, just after parking our armies there and waiting for a while. We now control the entirety of Hispaniola. Everything in Africa is the power base of the current emperor. We go back to plotting to kill our heir. We had stopped for a little while just because we were caught twice and it lowered his opinion of us by 400. Luckily, we've granted him enough lands to raise it by 500. And now we are all of Iberia. So what that could very well mean is we might want to just declare ourselves independent and become an independent kingdom. There's a bit of a downside to that, which is obviously we lose the empire. However, if we aren't an emperor ourselves, we can swear fealty to other emperors. And I wasn't really all that keen on becoming the emperor of Swabia in the first place. However, when we overthrew the Umayyads, we were kind of forced into it. So there we go, we have now declared our independence. We are the Kingdom of Leon, and I'm just going to rename that as Swabia Major, as just kind of a really not too subtle knock at the Swabian Empire. And now we can really probably just sit here, keep plotting to kill our heir and brother, and just wait. We have the vast majority of the power base of old Swabia, and I don't really think that they'll be able to do very much about us or about our independence play. That being said, we could probably still raise an army and go down and fight, so we do. We raise our heir's army. That way, if he does decide to hate us, at least we'll have used his levies and not our own to fight this war. We split it up a couple times. There is a 2,000-man stack, which really does just go to show the poor status of Swabia right now, just in how few forces they can actually bring against us. We send a force down to their capital, try to pass limited council authority to just get us back to the good old days before all of those terrible, terrible plotting counselors stole the power from our throne. And that invites a lot of politicking as we just try to convince rulers to join our side. We even hire an advisor, give him a favor basically, and do pass it. So we will be able to go back to non-elective monarchy eventually. As it is though, we're just kind of waiting. One of our wives has killed the other wife. However, our wife is a genius, so we just kind of let her go without punishing her. We continue plotting. A bunch of events, mainly just assassination attempts. We do manage to enforce peace. Swabia Major is now independent. And yeah, there we go. We failed an assassination attempt, but that's no problem. We'll just launch more. And now we don't really border the Byzantines, so if we want to swear fealty to them, and I am really tempted to do that, we'll have to declare a holy war and get over there. First, though, we have a bunch of rebels that we're going to just have to roll over into and just break apart. And it looks as though that's not going to be any trouble whatsoever. Apparently, our old Umayyad king is raising his own army to go seize control over Swabia Minor, we'll call it. So we'll see how that goes. A manure explosion kills our brother and heir, throwing the whole kingdom into chaos with tons of tiny little counties. And yeah, that's going to be a problem. We need to start delegating authority, otherwise we're going to just be right back in the same situation we were earlier. Luckily, we can revoke that title, and we'll start granting places to our genius son, because we have a really awesome history with granting genius sons titles. Nevertheless, we're going to hopefully just repeat what we've done before. Maybe it'll go better this time. We do delegate authority a little bit. We do have 3 dukes up north, all family members, not our son, to just sort of spread power around a little bit. We do disband one of our mercenary groups. We're going to just, or not mercenaries, retinue groups. We're going to have entirely cavalry retinues. And we go ahead and ensure that our son and heir will take over the throne once we die, by just sort of nominating him and hoping for the best. We'll also be able to switch laws eventually. We won't be able to change succession laws before he inherits, though. I looked at the various wars we can declare, and a holy war for Sardinia will get us a border with the Byzantines. We raise our forces and get ready to march Well, I guess not march. I guess get ready to sail over, and then just kind of chill there for a while. Now the goal is ultimately that we will take Sardinia, hopefully, or just the southern portion, I'm sorry. We'll take that, hopefully relatively easily. There's only 280 men there, so it does seem like it'll be pretty straightforward. We carry more troops over. Once we get the entire army there, we'll just rush it, siege all of the fortifications, and see where that takes us war score-wise. We do manage to do that. We're at 36%. There's a 7,000 or 8,000 now stack army of Germans. So we're going to start bringing our forces back to just go crush them. A 10,000 stack drops on us. Luckily, they had all sorts of penalties from landing, and we defeat them despite being numerically disadvantaged. And now we're going to just ship more troops over, get our force back together since we really can't leave the war goal. They go back on their boats, so we just get out of there. However, it looks like they're just going to try to land again, so we just bring our forces back. Same thing as before, only now we have the entire army. We do get wounded in the fight, which is a slightly worrying replay of the death of our last king, or last emperor. But I guess we're not an empire now, so it's slightly less arrogant. We do land on them, we beat their army to the punch, and now we're just going to keep chasing them down and destroying them, hopefully until they just lose. And we run that army back because they are trying landings all the time. We don't have enough men to take that out on our own, so we raise some mercenaries. We'll just group those back together. A massive stack attacks. Luckily, same story as before. We are kind of running low on men, and that's a bit worrying. Hopefully we'll be able to just destroy that German force and then wheel back. We do pull our forces off Sardinia simply because when those armies do march back over to us, we wouldn't win that battle. And it looks like we're going to win that handedly. We can just unsiege all of these territories, and now we're at 100%. We go ahead, call the war off, and there's a Byzantine revolt, so we can't swear fealty to the Byzantines. And it looks as though it is a war to overthrow the Byzantine emperor. However, I can't imagine it'll last too long, and then we'll try to swear fealty to them, or maybe not. It really depends. Here you'll see we have gotten quite a bit of prestige, we are independent, and we have greatly simplified the endgame screen. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.